Yes, you saw it, right? Wasn't it joyous? Absolutely wonderful. Well done, Richard. Well done, Richard. I know that you're a kleptomaniac on the side, but it's okay when you're skewering politicians like that. No, I think he only got caught shoplifting once. It's Rachel from Complaints. They spend our monies with impunity. Yes, they do indeed. Yes, they do indeed, because they're filthy people. They are filthy, disgusting people. Unlike my next guest. Let's bring him in, shall we? Let's bring in our next guest. Here he is. It's Dr. Robert, not a doctor. How are you, Robert?
I'm good, Sonia. How's my sound? All right.
Fantastic. Really impressive.
Oh, good.
Health Freedom UK. Robert can often be found in our comments. And Robert is also the purveyor of this, of which he will be giving away a couple of pots. I love this. We're going to be talking about this in a minute. This is your salve. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
I use it. I think I told you I think it's on this side. I'm pointing at myself because I'm looking at my reflection here, but I think it's on this side. I had a dry spot there for years. I used your salve. Gone. That's
fantastic.
Good stuff. We love that. We love that. You have joined me to talk about, to a degree, your spiritual journey, because we like to talk about that round here. What makes you you? What brought you to this point in your existence? Right. And you obviously have your channel on YouTube. Do you have a regular show? Is it twice a week you do a show?
No, I do a once a week.
Every Tuesday,
every
8 p.m.
Tuesday at 8 p.m. And there's not many people, Sonia, that do live shows these days. And I think that's why you're so popular. And people need to be more authentic about who they are and stop worrying about who they are. And I mean, I think I did that for years. I just worried about who I was and trying to always please other people. But eventually, my journey's just been through finding balance in my life. And getting to that point. Here's an example of balance. I've got my coffee here, right? I've got my lemon water here. And that's what I'm talking about. Is having
everything in moderation. Is that your approach?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything in moderation. And my journey's been. I worked for the NHS. I worked in diabetes care, and I mean I've had many jobs. I've been a jack of all trades. I was thinking it last night. Sonia, I've actually even worked in the music industry like you did. I worked for Universal Music.
Universal.
Yeah, because they were part of. They used to distribute for Def Jam, didn't they? Oh, excuse me, my cat is just making a noise here.
Oh, we love cats. What did you do at Universal?
I was a quality assurance manager at Universal, so I was responsible for the product. So when you'd see the product, I mean, I'll give you an example. Look, actually, this is my new. I treated myself to a tongue-in-cheek present. This is my new George Orwell £2 coin. I got it from Royal Mint. I had to get it because no, Izzy, stop it. Stop.
Izzy, let's see Izzy.
I'm sorry. I've just become a father of two rescued cats. I've rescued two 10-month-old cats.
We love that.
Yeah, so I had to open the cupboard so he can go in it. Otherwise, he'll just be making a noise. I worked for Universal Music. I've had many jobs, but diabetes. I was in diabetes care, and what happened with me in diabetes care is I would talk to people about just trying to encourage them to make small changes, which is what my channel does. It's trying to encourage people just to make small changes in their life, not ram information down people's throat. I would talk to them about things like vitamin C, simple things like that.
Oh my days! That already makes you odd one out in the NHS.
Well, it does, yeah. And I soon realised that they don't want you to talk and have anything to do with natural remedies or things that can assist you. I mean, like for example, there's like the most common drug that they give people in diabetes care is something called metformin. Well, there's a natural alternative called inositol, and inositol will do exactly the same sort of thing to help reduce your blood sugar levels. But again, they don't want you to talk about things like that. And we fell out of love. I was in the NHS for over 11 years.
Wow. So a considerable period of time.
It was.
When did you leave?
I left in just as lockdown happened.
Oh, wow. Did you?
Just as lockdown happened.
Interesting. That explains Dr. Robert, not a doctor, because that's always amusing whenever I write that. I think it's
The reason I got not a Dr. Robert. Okay, so I used to watch in lockdown. I was looking for like-minded souls. You know, I could not find people locally to me that I could gel with. And what happened was I started looking on the internet and I found a channel called Raconteurs News and I started watching that. And there was this great community, and that's what I love about your show is the interaction and the community that you have, and that's what I try to encourage as well. And there was this great community, and so what happened was eventually I built up the courage. Jason would say, "Does anyone want to jump on the show?" So eventually I just jumped on the show and started talking about, you know, what I wanted to talk about. And that was just natural health. And this was before YouTube started doing the medical misinformation
yeah,
business.
we have to be careful with that.
Oh yeah, completely. I mean,
insane.
I get around it now by I mean, I've already had people strikes. I've already had strikes. I've had a 2-week ban. And so what I do is now I do an hour on YouTube, and then I take people over to Rumble.
Right.
So I encourage them then to go to Rumble, because Rumble is more free speech, much more free speech. But the problem with Rumble is that you don't. It's very much American audience. It's fundamentally an American audience.
It is, and honestly, the reach on YouTube still you can't compare it. It's like
No.
it's huge in comparison. And I'm building up an audience on Rumble. I actually like being on YouTube as well. I don't like the
Yeah.
draconian measures, but I like the model. The model is a brilliant model. It all works very nicely. But yeah,
So yeah,
I hear you.
I got the name, and so I got someone said, "Come on my show. I'd like to interview you and talk to you about natural health products." And I said, "Oh, my name's Robert." And he said, "Oh, I'm going to call you Dr. Robert." And that's where it started. And then I used to say to people when I because I would talk to people about natural health products, and they would say, "Are you a doctor?" And I'd say, "No, I'm not a doctor." And then that's how it became.
Right. Got you.
But,
You.
yeah, I've had. Go on.
I want to get away from the medical stuff because it's just too headachy.
No.
Right? It's too headachy. But
Yeah.
I want to actually talk about your journey of waking up, right? When was the first point that you can remember that you kind of, and sometimes it's slow, subtle dawning on us, isn't it? But when was the first time you think that you can remember realizing that everything what we're being told is not actually what's happening?
I think I remember the first thing I remember is seeing David Icke do his interview on Wogan and being really humiliated on Wogan. I know that you've had you've worked with David Icke and things, and I remember thinking, oh, wow, he's a bit different and everything. And then I remember 9/11 happening. Okay. And I remember watching it live. I was actually working for Universal Music at the time, and I thought it was all a bit strange, you know, that buildings would fall down and things, and like a building like Building 7 that wasn't even hit by a plane suddenly collapsed in its own footprint 20 minutes before the BBC or after the BBC announced it. And then I remember in 2007 watching things like Loose Change, which was a very big 9/11 film, and then finding Alex Jones. Now, whatever you think about Alex Jones, you could call Alex Jones a gatekeeper, but Alex Jones started really talking about things like the Trilateral Commission and
Time ago.
and all sorts of things, you know, all and talking to you about how that the system is run by oligarchs and by bankers, etc., etc. So I started watching more and more of that, and you could call it becoming more conspiratorial about the way that the system is run. And then I went to where is it? I went to Bilderberg in 2013, I think it was.
Oh, I know. That was the one that was
At
like
Watford.
Watford. That
was at Watford.
Yeah.
And I went to Bilderberg, or some people call it Schilderberg now.
Icke and Alex Jones were both there.
Icke, Alex Jones, Max Egan promoting crypto. Not Max Egan. I forget which one. An American guy. and yeah, Ike was there, yeah, and he gave a good speech and everything, and it was great to be there. It was great to be about amongst like-minded people, and so that's been my journey, is really, and then just slowly, you know, realizing that I'm. It's the world isn't what we think it is. The world is not run how the average Joe out there thinks that the world is run. You know that it doesn't make a jot of difference. I don't think whether you vote in this world now. It really doesn't.
Really? And so are you politically homeless?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I'm definitely politically homeless. Uh,
Many people, let me ask you about this, because I'm always talking about how we don't need any more heroes, we don't need any more leaders, but actually sometimes people do need a leader to be able to kind of congregate behind, somebody who's like some sort of lightning rod of what is happening. What do you think about in terms of leadership?
um, I mean, I'm more into not leaders as such. I'm more into decentral. I like the idea of decentralization. You know, whatever people think about crypto, right now, crypto, um, there's CBDCs. I mean, Trump's just made an announcement that he's no way is he going to have central bank digital currencies, for example. I'm more into decentralized power sources, Sonia. I think if we go back to more local sources, local people know more about their own what happens in their local towns. If
Right,
we had decentralized platforms where people could use even smart technology, smart contracts to vote and things like that. I mean, people talk about, oh, it's terrible having these technologies, but honestly, we need to use the tools. Like YouTube is also a tool. It can be used against us for propaganda, but we can also use it by communicating to like-minded souls. So I don't try and look up to anyone in particular or as someone that I want to follow. I think that people want to should be their own leaders. You know, be yourself, be authentic, and just try and get on this in this world with as many people as possible. The only people I can get on with now are my community within my channel. I have no one where I live
right,
here in Bedfordshire that
right.
understands me. I feel I
Right.
don't feel I've got anyone.
It's funny, isn't it? It's kind of like a process in its own right, really, about, this whole idea of, being part of a tribe. I've always been a bit of a kind of lone wolf, to be
Yeah,
honest with you. I've
yeah.
always been that sort of way inclined. I'm very sociable. I used to be a real party girl, actually, not so much these days, but and I've met you, and you can see I'm very sociable. I can speak very easily to lots of people and all of that. But I think ultimately, I like at the end of the day to kind of come back, shut my door to the rest of the world. I mean, obviously, I don't live alone, but you know what I mean? It's like, because I find human beings can be so headachy sometimes, Robert. They can bring so many hassles with them. And I like peace and solitude these days. Does that make me different, do you think? Or do you think that's what happens when people just mature, that
I,
they,
th- I was going to say I think it's an age thing. I think I mean I'm an Aries, and we know we discuss fire signs and things
yeah,
like we're both fire
yeah,
signs, and
Leo,
I've always been a bit fiery, and I've
I
noticed
bet.
that as I've got older, I've definitely calmed down. And what I've also realised is it don't you it's you shouldn't be afraid to change. Always,
Yeah, yeah,
most people like the same thing day in day out. I embrace change.
right.
I embrace
I
change.
hate routine. I'm not
I don't like
good on
routine.
routine. John
Yeah,
said
I
he's
don't like routine. I
it,
really don't
it's
like
hard.
routine.
Even the routine of walking my dog, I'm always looking for different routes, different ways to get to the park, all of that, because I just cannot do the same thing over and over again. I wasn't born for it.
Yeah.
And John said he's never more happier than when he's up a Welsh mountain under a tarp away from everyone. Listen, John, I watch videos of people when they go off and like they're in the middle of snow and they're in a camper van. I love those kind of
Oh,
videos,
there's one that I watched called Wild Bear. She's great.
Oh, I love all of that sort of stuff. I really
Yeah,
do. And
Wild
people
Bear.
kind of
She's great.
surviving in the
Yeah, I love
wild.
that.
Love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I love that. I really
Dealing
love
with
that.
the elements.
And
So,
yeah, and the thing is, so where I got to, I decided, and it was about 2 years ago now, Sonia, to start my own channel.
oh,
And I didn't know where. I thought I'm going to let it develop itself. At first, I was all over the place. I didn't know what to do in terms of how to interact. There was only maybe about 10 people watching, but you know what? It was 10 people that were interested in what I was
That's
saying, and it was
right.
10 people that I could interact with. And the show has now become something where it's very much a community. It's a real community, and I love that about it. And I call it a bit like a poor man Steve Wright show. So I try and make it like a radio show
Steve
almost.
Wright was always very funny. He was always very
He was
funny,
always very funny. I used to love Steve Wright, and so
very
I've got
entertaining.
I have we have music in the show occasionally. I mean, it's difficult to get commercial music on YouTube. So what I do is we've got a community of musicians, so we play their songs. Is it Soul Sound?
Yeah, Soul
Yeah,
Sound. She's
Soul
one of
Sound.
our mods.
Like,
She's
for
a
example, you
musician.
would
Yeah.
encourage Soul Sound to play a song. We've got drummers, we've got guitarists, we've got all sorts of things. I even dabble on the piano occasionally. So we have music. We talk about, like, for example, this week I talked about the carbon emissions stuff that's going on now. They're now bringing out on the Uber app the
Don't.
carbon emissions. They're putting the carbon emissions down. Oh, it's gonna cost you this many carbons, etc. I mean, I also talked about the new plastic recycling scheme that they're bringing in. They've got it in Europe that now they're going to be encourage us to recycle our plastic bottles. What the hell ever happened to recycling glass, Sonia?
Yeah, but I've been recycling plastic for a long time. I have to say, just as an aside, I much prefer the taste of anything that comes in a bottle to
Yes,
anything that comes in a tin or plastic or anything else like that, right? And
BPA.
yeah,
Most plastics are BPA, bisphenol A.
exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. So, but the thing is that obviously we're gathering together these kind of communities that we are, and authenticity is really important, but also to be entertaining, as you say, because the thing is, it's not enough. Some people just think, well, if I just get in front of a camera and I just talk, it will be enough. No, actually, audiences demand to be entertained. Right.
Yeah.
And I learned that in mainstream media, right? It's not enough to show up and present information. People want to be entertained. They
Yeah,
do.
I mean, and that's what, and I think that's part of my personality. I'm an April Fool. Okay, I was born on
April the
yeah, I was
1st.
born on April the 1st, and I'm an April Fool, and I've always been a bit of a joker. I mean, you can see my cat hat in the background here, and occasionally I do put it on.
Let's have a look at
Occasionally,
it. Come on, Robert. Let's have a look.
there we
Let's
go.
have a.
Let's see.
Ooh, are you a furry? Do you know what furries are?
Yes, I do know what furries are, and but yeah, we try and joke around. I've got a producer, a crap producer called Pete as well, who lives in the lowlands, and we have great banter. And he, as you saw, he makes AI as well. He's into AI, and we just try and entertain people
Just
with
growing
serious stuff as
organically.
well.
Yeah, it's just growing organically, because it doesn't need to be a big rush for it. The thing is that people will come if what you have to say is
Yes,
engaging. People will come. I absolutely subscribe to the idea of
I
build
also
it and they will come.
I also believe, though, that when you're hovering over the target, they don't promote you.
Oh, that's
You're,
also true. That
you're
has to
taking
be
when you
true.
take the flak, you know that, and I quite like that. It doesn't matter. I think I've got about 350 subscribers, you know, that I've achieved in 2 years. I don't really care. I'm lucky that I've been able to interview people as well. I had I've interviewed Clive de Carl.
I know Clive, lovely
Hello,
Clive.
Clive de Carl
I
here.
know. He's great. He-
I've got a very deep voice and I'm
uh,
very posh.
yeah, he's lovely with his
Yeah,
roaring fire
Clive's
in the
great. And
background.
Clive encouraged me to get one of these, a violet ray machine. I've got a violet ray machine, which helps with any aches and
That looks
pains.
like a sex toy.
Well, it used to be, apparently. And back in the early 1900s, they would also use it as a toy. But I use that as paint to put on
to
any
reduce pain.
areas, any areas. But again, my channel is about just trying to encourage people to make small changes, like get rid of your plastic utensils. People go to wood, okay, and
Yes.
steel.
Good
Don't
stuff.
use plastic
Great advice.
utensils.
Great advice. Absolutely.
Things like that.
Yeah. Don't leave home. What's this? Don't leave home without a litter tray. People, what are you up to? Are you these two right here that I know? Absolutely outrageous.
I've got a litter tray at the moment.
We love
My
it.
cats have used
We love it. Kevin wants to know, how did I know that? Oh, well, I just know stuff. I'm a well-traveled, experienced human being. Talk to me about yourself. I love yourself. And actually, I have to tell everybody that this was not Robert's suggestion to even talk about his salve. No. It was mine. I chose to promote this salve because
I didn't even think to.
I know you didn't. And so and I wanted to make a point of that, right? And Christine's just bought wooden utensils. I'm blushing watching Mum and Dad flirt. Wayne, how dare you? Wayne is trying to, you're preposterous, Wayne, trying to act like you're some 20-year-old or something. Right. And I like the smell of it as well. Right. I like the smell of it. So you gave me this. What do you actually call it?
I call it a healing salve. It's a salve. And I have to have my list here to know what because there's so much in it, I could actually forget it. So it's got CBD, it's got and these are all ingredients that are all organic. It's got coconut oil, CBD, hemp seed oil, olive oil, beeswax from my mate Jack, who's a beekeeper, who I've also had on my show to talk about the wonderful beekeeping business and also about honey and how important it is to buy locally sourced honey as well. Lavender from the farm at Hitchin here. I went and picked the lavender myself.
Love
and then
that.
I then turned it into the oil. Honeysuckle, rose, neroli, frankincense, comfrey, ylang ylang, myrrh and bergamot essential oils. So it's packed full of really, and these are all organically sourced oils that I use in it. And yeah, I just wanted to produce something that maybe will help people. And I've had such positive feedback from people saying it helps with pain relief. It really does. It's a wonderful product. I'm there you go. So. But thank you for talking about it.
No, I want to talk about it a little bit more. I've used it for a number of things, including dry skin, including that patch, and it shifted that patch. I also have some issues with my left hip, and I've used it on that.
Yes.
Mel said it smells gorgeous from here. Yeah, just the ingredients alone let you know, right, how gorgeous it's going to be. And I've used it on my iffy hip, and yes, it has relieved some pain for me. And you are very kindly giving away 2 pots today, aren't you?
Yeah, you suggested a competition, and so yeah, I'm quite happy to give away 2 pots of my lovely salve here. So there you go.
You're an absolute star. So the competition winner. So you write to Sonia Poulton at sky.com, my usual email address. I will randomly pick out 2 people at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, Saturday evening, which gives people on playback an opportunity to also enter the competition. But more than that, you are also giving 20% off for anyone who buys it over the next week, any of our subs, right? But it must be in the UK only because it's packing and postage and all that business.
I normally sell it for £20, including second-class delivery. So you get it sent to you for second-class delivery. But I'm going to do it for £16 this week for anyone who wants to email me. I haven't got a website again, and you can't put things like anything to do with CBD, right? And these companies don't like you selling on Etsy or anything like that. They really don't. They really don't like. If you email me at cbd-salve@hotmail.com. I'm sure Sonia will put the link in the show notes. Then you'll get an automated reply just telling you how to just pay me via PayPal and give me the address where you want it sent to.
That is a great thing. I'm very grateful to you, and I do highly recommend it. I don't recommend a lot around here. I'm bad like that. No, I'm not bad. It's just that I'm quite selective because I don't want to tell people to go and try something if I haven't already tried it myself, right? That's not, and you're not paying me to promote this, none of that business. This is
Not at all.
literally because I think this stuff is the business. And
Thanks,
also
Sonia.
the other thing is it lasts so long. Like this pot, I reckon this pot is likely to last me till the end of the year. I mean, it's like, because you just need a small amount, don't you?
Yeah, and you can use it also. I mean, I use it, Sonia, in the summer as a natural sun protector as well. So when I'm going back out to Fangarola in June on a short break, and instead of putting poisonous sunscreen on, I put my natural salve on, and I honestly, I mean, you have to start gently when you go out in the sun anyway. But I never burn with this now. And I know that my skin's just going to absorb all those great essential oils and that coconut oil, especially, and the beeswax. It's a form of protection.
We love it. What is the size of this? They're asking.
It's a 60 mil. There you go.
60
Look,
mil. Good, decent
that's
size.
60 mil, and it does last absolutely ages. But yeah, I just want to I want to try and help people heal from any pain, because it's all very well using paracetamol, ibuprofen, and things like that. But more natural things is the way forward. It really is.
Couldn't agree more. People want to know if you're going to take a cat nap after this, Robert. Are you taking a cat nap? What are you doing today? What's your day's plans?
I've not got any specific plans, actually, apart from chasing these two cats, Gizzy and Gaza, who I rescued from.
Gaza.
Yeah, well, one was called Gary, Sonia.
Oh God, you can't have that.
Exactly. Now, Gizzy, I thought, I'm having Gizzy, but I'm not having Gary. No, so I called him Gaza.
We've got Gary in comments. I'm sure he's going to kick off about this.
Yeah, I mean, and anyone, please come and join the fun. Come and join the craziness on Tuesday as well.
Please, everybody, subscribe to his channel.
Subscribe to my channel. You know, we've got a great community. Honestly, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of seriousness. And right at the end of the show, we even have a quiz. We do the quiz of the week live from Bedfordshire, and it's just to help people. My show, Sonia, a bit like yourself, is to go through a journey, and right at the end, give them some fun, some serious stuff, and right at the end, give them a quiz, just to help them not worry about what's going on in the world.
And I think that's important. Cheeky Sprite has just subbed. We love that.
Oh,
thank you so much. And so has Lisa. Gary likes his cats too. Yes, absolutely.
Can I leave you again? I try and encourage people to be as positive as possible. I saw this yesterday and I wanted to share it with everyone. It's this. It says, it doesn't matter if the glass is half empty or half full. Be grateful that you have a glass and there is something in it. At the end of the day, we must be grateful that we are alive and that each day is a new opportunity to make it better. If you have a tendency to see things negatively or you're having a bad day, focus on menial things that are in your power to change immediately. It will give you a sense of satisfaction, accomplishment that will lift your spirits up.
We love that. We love that very much. A wonderful positive message to end his time here with us today.
Grand risings to you, Sonia.
Grand risings
to the chat. And Sonia, Matt sends his love.
Lots of love to Matt. Lovely to have you with us. Isn't he lovely?
Thanks, Sonia.
Now you know who Robert is when you see Health Freedom UK in the live chat, everybody. Absolute pleasure.
Thanks, everyone.
To have you with us. What's that? How man are joining Dr. Roberts because of the sex toy? Is that wait, we're out of here, Robert. Take good care of yourself. Lovely to have you with us. What a star.
Bye-bye.
What a star. A very generous star. Embrace the glass, full glass or nothing. Cool, lovely man, says Gary. Even though Gary got dissed for being Gary. Thanks, Robert, says Kiwi. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? Really, the thing is I just said, come on, have a chat. And I extend this to anybody, right? Is that if you're on a spiritual journey, a waking up journey, I would like to talk to you. Come in and talk to us on the 10 a.m. slot and talk to us about your journey. Robert was feeling randy, says Healing the Silence. Was he, or was it all of you lot? Thank you, Gary. Do you love him, Sonia? Do I love him? As in, like, love. I don't really know Robert well enough, but I like him. I get a good vibe from him, and that feels good enough to me. Julie, I found it's really helped. I'm eating sour jelly sweets. I need something to get me through, says Halo. How are you, Halo? How are you? So, yes, email me, Sonia Poulton at sky.com. Two names pulled out randomly at 6 p.m. Saturday evening. Will each receive a pot of this, and I will also put the email address where you can contact Robert to get 20% off over the next week of this salve, which is great news, isn't it? Great news.